Yo, it's your boy ZettaSlow, and today we're about to be doing something a little bit different. So under night 2, System Celeste has the website updated now. It has all these other things like profiles and things like that. And what I want to do is look through it with you guys. I want to talk about each character individually. I want to read their blurb to see what's happening with their part of the story, as well as, you know, just give my final thoughts on each character as we go through it. And also the art too. We're going to talk about the art. Don't worry. The art is getting talked about. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is we're going to hop into it. So look, we have the big artwork piece right here. Now we have the movie over here. It used to just be in the middle, I remember. So what it says is Under Night and Birth to System Celeste. System of Celeste sinks toward ruination. For the immortalized, the collapse of all that is looms on the horizon. The curtain rises on the final chapter of the Holy Night. The curtain rises on the final chapter of the Hollow Knight. Catastrophe beckons. Man, what? I hope that's not under the word again. Cause if they put that under the title again, that is gonna drive me absolutely crazy. Cause the last one was a very long paragraph too. For them to do that again, it would be very close to what they did before. And I mean, I understand it, but at the same time, who's reading that? Are you reading that? I know I'm not reading that again. So as we scroll down the page, I think they have more news. This is the thing we saw at the Tokyo Game Show with the battle update and things like that, the netcode and all those different things and all the characters. So these are all things we'll go through. There's a tab for characters and there's a tab for the gameplay. What I want to go down to is this product part right here. So currently as it stands, US does not have any way to get the limited edition version. So you guys have seen the limited edition version. It's the one that has the discs and all the different things that come with it, as well as the other one, the Famitsu one, which comes with the posters that you also saw in that TGS stream. What we're seeing here though, is we finally can see the price of the game. So the standard edition of the game, which tells me that there might be a deluxe edition, maybe, who knows, is $50. So this is a $50 price tag. Very similar to what they did with Melty Blood Type Lumina. It's just what they kind of do right now. I don't know how much Clear went for when it came out. I think it was something around this price tag as well. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Just go ahead and do that. But yeah, so $50. $50 is not a bad price tag for this game, I don't think. Especially in a world where we're about to have $70 fighting games very, very soon. And we already had Mortal Kombat come out, and I think that was $70 as well. So $50, not that bad. We're okay. 20 off, we're good. So the release date, as we know, is January 25th. January 25th is the release date, I think, in Japan. So I don't know if they're going to keep us to the same release date as Japan, or if it's going to be a worldwide release where they're maybe do the 25th in Japan and then they'll do the 24th in America. We don't have those specific details yet. I'm sure they'll probably specify that a little bit closer to the release date, and we'll go from there. The platform this is going to be on, as we all know, is going to be on PS5, it's going to be on PS4, it's going to be on Switch, and it's going to be on Steam. We haven't seen the Steam version, we haven't seen the PS5 version. The version that they had at EVO was on PS4. All the versions were PS4 versions, even the ones on the stage floor and the ones on the kiosks were both PS4. I hope we get to see a PS5 version very, very soon, and I just want to see what it looks like. I hope the latency is probably a little bit lower, maybe. Who knows? This will be the first French Bread game on PS5. Let's go. One thing French Bread likes to do is whenever they put games on the Switch, they make sure they put the rollback on it. A lot of other fighting games, everything else that has come out on BlazBlue, BB Tag, Persona, all those on Switch do not have rollback, which is really weird because their other counterparts do have rollback. But French Bread makes sure that they have rollback on their games. Melty Blood has rollback on Switch. Under Night is going to have rollback on Switch as well. There's nothing saying to the contrary. So yeah, look forward to having rollback on Switch again. As for the genre, as we know, it's a fighting action game. They didn't put the visual novel part on here, but you know, they have that part too. You know, the story mode is going to be told in a visual novel fashion. I know a lot of people are not huge on visual novels, so I hope that there is actually an English dub. We have not talked about that enough yet. If there's going to be an English dub or not, hopefully there will be. Let's prayer hands in the chat, y'all. Prayer hands in the comments, please. Hopefully we get that. Players is going to be 1 to 2 and then up to 9 players, assuming in a lobby online. It's very cut and dry, very simple. French Bread doesn't really go all out for their online mode. I know that's one of the big detractors for a lot of people. Their online mode is very bare bones. It's very cut and dry. The game is what you get. You play the fighting game, pretty much. As for languages, we have all these languages down here. As you see, Japanese, English, Korean, traditional Chinese, Chinese again, French, Italian, German, and Spanish. Got all the good languages here, so hopefully that's everybody else's languages here, so you guys can understand the game when it comes out, which is great. Now, let's go on to the characters. All right, so we have all these characters. From what I understand, there will be 22 here because Kage is added, and I know before they had 21, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see. Let's start at the very top. Let's start with the boy Hyde. I like this layout, by the way. It's actually not that bad. All right, so we got Hyde right here. Same voice actor. So yeah, they're showing the Japanese voice actor. I don't know if we're gonna get the English voice acting again. I really hope that we do. I really do. So all right, here's what it says. At least this time, I'm not being left behind. I'm alone by my own free will. So yeah, I mean, honestly, that's growth in this character, because it's not that he couldn't be alone. It's just that he didn't know what he didn't know back in the first one. The first one, he was very much, I don't know if the word is naive, but he was very, you know, he was very not used to what was going on around him. That world was kind of different for him. The Hollow Knight world was very different than what he had prior experienced. So Hyde is our high schooler protagonist. The power of the Exus is awakened within Hyde after an encounter with the mysterious young girl named Lene. Yes, very true. After a series of gruesome battles, Hyde defeated the Paradox, Hilda, considered to be the strongest wielder of all. Afterwards, however, Hyde was defeated by an immensely powerful rebirth called Kuon the Eon. Kuon boasted the plans involved destroying the world as a means to achieve his goal. Hearing this, Lene disappeared. Hyde set out on his own to fight Kuon and save the world. So yeah, so now Hyde has grown into his role as like the main protagonist, which is really crazy. You see him with his weapon, the Insulator. His ability is Void Red. That's basically, you know, his Whirlpool thing, where basically the Insulator can, you know, just cut through anything. It is that strong. It is like the strongest weapon in the world type deal. You know, protagonist stuff. So they show like all the birthdays and all that stuff too, the blood types. It's really funny that like Japan is very specific about blood types and things like that. And I think they say that it's linked to your personality. I don't know much about that, but yeah. As we see over here in this picture, his picture looks really good. I like the energy coming off the blade. It looks really cool. Yo, like this portrait is actually really good. And I know we have that very infamous short of me saying that some of the art was not that good. And someone actually pointed out is because they don't have noses. It's not that it looks bad. It's just really weird looking. Like, I think bad is the wrong word. I just think it looks really weird without the nose. However, I'll give this one an A because the lighting off of the sword showing on his body, and I mean the hair flowing like it's in the wind, the tie flowing like it's in the wind, the belts kind of flowing, you know, with the whole fit, you know, it's kind of like really nice. I like what they did with him. He's very, you know, protagonist-like, very good. All right, so now we have Lene. So it says, I still have to go. I have something to settle with Kuon. So as we know, Lene is Kuon's younger sister, so that's going to be a thing that's gonna definitely appear a lot in the story, especially now like this is getting close to the end game where Kuon is actively involved in a lot of things going on. So Lene is still being voiced by Ayane Sakura. Very normal things. Like I said, I hope we get English VAs for everybody because I like their English VAs a lot. And then of course she has her weapons No Name and Nameless, and then Speed Star is her ability, and she moves really fast, as you guys have seen probably in competitive. Like, she cooks, she moves really quick. Also, I didn't show off the picture with Hyde at the bottom. I'll show off the pictures for her. You just have to go back and check the Hyde picture yourself. Just make sure you go to the website. But yeah, so Lene's our heroine, a young girl of indeterminate age. Lene detected Hyde's true potential and successfully defeated Hilda. That done, she tried to fulfill her original plan to destroy the ominous power of sealing engraved within her body. So the ominous power of sealing, the sealing thing, that is her ability that makes her reincarnate. So she kind of possesses just a kid, basically. Like, so she's really old actually. However, she's definitely in this like this kid's body. I don't know what the kid's name is, but yeah, very, very morbid, very, 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 very weird, right? But until her brother Kuon steps out of hiding before her, refusing to die alone, she decides to confront Kuon alone and take him with her as she falls into the night. So yeah, so she's trying to break, you know, the reincarnation cycle, but she also has to defeat her brother because he's bad. Very, very simple things. Like I said, she's the heroine. She's like, you know, the counter to Hyde. She's already very dutiful. She knows what she needs to do type deal. Hyde is still kind of growing into his role. So they're showing some of the new moves as well. I actually did not get to play a lot of Lene at Evo, but yeah, this is like her new move. It's like a big slash upward. And then she has a dash through cut. Like, so she is basically Nania in this game. Like, she is like, if you play Melty Blood, she is like legit Nania right now. So it's kind of nuts, kind of crazy. She has her two blades. She has her light dagger and her very big dagger. Both of those things are nuts. So yeah, look out for her. She's gonna be a menace in this new one. So especially if she gets Celestial. Next we have Big Waldstein, the big man himself, the meaty claws, the goat. Honestly, they left off in a very weird part for him, so I want to see what they say in his blurb later. Now onward to my final battlefield. I will charge forth without fear or regret. So Big Waldstein, you know, got the destroyers right here, these big claw things. That's not his actual hands, but you know, they might as well be. They might as well be. So Waldstein is a warrior who's lived for centuries. Actually, he fought Kuon back in the day. He guarded Lene along her journey after Kuon, his best friend, entrusted her to him. So yeah, so literally like they were best friends because of that battle. Initially, I believe Waldstein was with the Lich Christ, basically the group that Aurier was in before they made it two different groups for the boys and the girls. That's a thing. Read the story. But yeah, after long years, Kuon appeared before Waldstein again to tell him that his duty is to protect Lene is over, and to ask him to fight alongside Kuon as he strives beyond the night. Kuon beseeches him to wield his claws for his own sake. Moved by his friend's admirable words, Waldstein decides to leave Lene and fight for himself, playing his role in the impending conclusion of the 500-year-old conflict. So yeah, so it's not like he really like betrayed. I think he did it out of duty to his friend. You know, his friend told him to do this thing, and you know, as the homie, I gotta listen to you. You know what I mean? However, we didn't really know that part until it got later in the story. So that's gonna be a very touchy point, I'm sure, because now Waldstein is unleashed. I don't know what's happening with Waldstein. We'll find out what's happening with him soon. I guess this is his new move, so maybe he can just hit the ground now, like from the air. Looks like he did it from the air and came down. That's going to be a really strong button, I'm sure, as an overhead, especially if you tiger knee it or something like that. But yeah, so that's Waldstein. For his picture looks pretty good actually. I like the muscle fidelity and things like that. I like the flowing hair. You know, he looks very, very unchained, you know, like, as he is currently. So yeah, I give that a B. It's a good picture, pretty good. Next we got my boy young Carmine. Let's get it. The fish himself. Listen up, Mr. High and Mighty Lord of the Eternity. If you thought you could kick back on your throne forever, you're dead wrong. So yeah, Carmine is a really cool character to me. He's just really cool. He's really, he makes sense. It's really weird. Like, he's one of those characters that's like, you know, he's a little too cool for school. School kind of bores him, you know. He wants to just fight people instead, you know, and that's fine. He had a little bit of character development beyond that because now he fights for others' sakes as well as his own. But yeah, like without spoiling too much, that's basically him. So his weapon is the rain blood. Basically it's him using his own blood to attack people, and the ability is blood spike. So you see him using like the blood and it spikes up type deal. That is what his ability is. So yeah. So Carmine is a brash young man who uses Exis for his own amusement. Thus far, no one has been able to defeat him. In Carmine's eyes, they're all hideous failures, including the so-called strongest inbirth of all. That changed one night, however, when Carmine was utterly defeated by a rebirth who suddenly appeared before him. For the first time ever, Carmine experienced fear, but it didn't last for long. Someone's out there pissing me off. I'll feel better once I crush him, that's for sure. Carmine heads back out into the final night with nothing on his mind but the person he hates most. So yeah, so Carmine, like I said, is a very one-track character. He's not too I guess there's not too many layers to him. He's very simple character. And I think that fits him. I think that fits his motive, his motif. He was at one point presented as like Hyde's rival, which is a thing of its own too. His new moves look kind of crazy. I wish that I knew what these moves were before I went to Evo, because like I wish I was able to do these moves in the fight that you saw on the channel before. So it looks like he has better moves now, and that looks like a regular grab. I don't know. I don't think that's metered this time. I think he has a regular command grab now. Really nice. He needed it. He has a dive. Dive kick is kind of nice for Carmine too. Carmine is going to be a lot stronger in a lot of different ways, and I think I like that a lot. So look out for Carmine. As for his picture right here, I think it's pretty solid. You know, it's just very edgy as Carmine is. Like Waldstein, I think I'll give it a B. It's not doing anything too special. Like I wish they would have like made it like so he had like blood around him type deal or something. That'd have been nice. But yeah, that's Carmine. Next we have Miss Aurier. Yes, it is pronounced Aurier, not Ori. Someone actually said like Ori, and I'm like, no, it's not Ori, it's Aurier. But at the same time, I see how you got that. So Aurier's quote is, "I can't afford any regrets. I have to walk the path I chose to the very end." So yeah, so Aurier is voiced by Saori Hayami. I think that's how you pronounce it. Same voice actor as before. Her weapon is the ruler. This long sword. This sword is really long, especially in the game. You will get poked to oblivion. And her ability is Thanatos, which is really funny because it's named after the persona, right? But it's also like a persona, which is actually kind of crazy. So like I think Carmine, when he made this character, was definitely feeling persona, you know, persona inspired, and that's okay. So Aurier is a member of Lich Christ, an organization sworn to enforce the order among the Exodus. Catching wind of the incident that occurred in the city, she set off to defeat the Paradox, the root of all evil, and prevailed. But Aurier's fight did not end there. When Kuon and Aeon awakened and declared that he would destroy the world, Lich Christ mobilized his forces, resulting in a fatal orders being given to Aurier's comrades. Refusing to let her friends die, Aurier abandons the Lich Christ and decides to face the night on her own. So yeah. Aurier was a very by the books person. Like, she has a very strong dynamic, I think, in Under Night personally. Like, as a character, she has a very strong dynamic, because not only is it the way that she interacts with Hyde and her have like this thing kind of going on, and I mean it leads to a little bit of a triangle later, but that's neither here nor there. But it's also like the dynamic with her duty to the Lit Christ as well as her friends. I think that is a very stark contrast to her character. Her character, like I said, is very dutiful, whereas Wagner, I think Wagner is the very opposite of her, which is very funny because that makes them rivals and they clash in that exact same way. And it's funny because her color palette is like, you know, the cool blues, Wagner's the hot reds and things like that, and yellow and those colors. So I think there just creates a very great character in Aurier, and I like that about her. I can't wait to see what she does, because I mean, now we have, you know, more Lit Christ people in here, and for good reason, because as they said, things are kind of getting a little bit crazy. We'll see how crazy they actually get. So it looks like she has like a brand new command overhead, and this move looks kind of crazy. I think I'm gonna get opened up by this move quite a bit. I already get opened up by her quite a bit already, especially because of Thanatos putting a little shield up, but now it's gonna be crazy. And she also has a Thanatos drop, so Thanatos just does a straight drop down. I actually did see this move in action at Evo, and that move is really crazy because you just kind of have to know she's doing it. Like in a block string, you're not looking for that. You're definitely not looking for that, especially if you do a chain shift. So you're not looking for that move. You got to be ready every time. Good thing Gordo backed up though. I think backdash might be the answer actually, because of the possible invincibility you'll get from it. As for her portrait is really good. It's very clear. This is what I want. This is like what I like in portraits like this. Like I want it to be very clear. I want the hair to be very defined. I want the facial features to be very defined, which is some of these things are lacking. And as well as like her dress, like I like flowing. I like the flow of it. Like it's very flowy. It's everywhere. It's here. It's there. It's all around, right? And that's very beautiful. I like that very, very much. I definitely give her portrait an A. Amazing. Phenomenal. Chef's kiss. All right, next we have Gordo. Gordo, the bartender himself, the GOAT. If you came back and the world wasn't there waiting for you, I don't know how I'd look you in the eye. Oh man, so yeah, Gordo is a character. I mean, Gordo is like he's definitely, I don't know, he's a big bro character for sure. He's big bro. Not really much else I can say about him because I don't like really associate with Gordo like that. I don't know. I don't remember what happened with Gordo's story particularly. I know he worked with Hilda, and I know, you know, him and Chaos are like homies. That is like the gist of what I remember with Gordo. Of course, he was also homies with Roger, and that was a thing too. But you know, that Roger things. So his weapon is the Devourer. It's this big old scythe thing that you see. I'm sure if you played BB Tag, you know about the scythe. The scythe was everywhere. If you played early Under Night, the scythe was everywhere. Because Gordo was actually like, I think he was like top tier at some point. His ability is the Snatcher. That's the move where he like used the little claw to steal your grid and things like that. So yeah, Gordo is a member of Amnesia. His combat prowess is said to be even matched for the Paradox, which is Hilda, considered to be the strongest of all. But the thing is, Gordo doesn't like heavy responsibility. So Gordo is like, you know, I shy away from like things that, you know, that bother me, right? Because when initially they had seen Chaos, or Gordo had picked up that Chaos was hiding, he said, I'll leave it alone for the day. And then the next time, you know, he approached him as a friend, which is really cool with him. After a close friend of Gordo's fell into the abyss at the center of the night and turned to a void, Roger, he decided to put an end to Hilda's reckless deeds. His satisfaction with her defeat didn't last long before things took a drastic turn with the appearance of the rebirth Kuon. The overwhelmingly powerful Kuon declared that he would destroy the world to fulfill his desires. Gordo, on the verge of giving up, decides to save the world. If only so his friend would have a place to come back to someday. So yeah, the sad, like that whole part was very, very sad. Like if anything stuck out in that story to me, it was definitely that part. Because you realize, uh-oh, there's more at play than what we thought was happening here. So, and I really like that. This is his new move. This move looks crazy, but not only that, I like his face. You see his face in the pose that he's in? Like that is peak. That is actually amazing. I am a huge fan of this one right here. We might actually end up checking out Gordo again too in Uni 2. I don't know if I'll check him out in Uni 1 right now, but we'll see. As for the portrait, we have a bit more of the flowing, you know, the hair. He got the Wolverine hair, but with the hair over the eye type deal. Nothing too crazy. Got the boots on, the pants. He has like this weird like what do they call those? The Yankee vibe. Like he has a Yankee vibe. Like he looks like he's part of the biker gang low key. But he also, you know, he cleans up pretty nice. He's pretty dapper when he's at the bar, you know. So there, that's Gordo. Gordo's pretty fire. Honestly, I think I might give him, like, he's leaning to B, but he also might get an A. Because I don't know, the facial expression is not quite what I want. But at the same time, everything else is pretty on point. So, you know what? Since the scythe is in the picture, I'll give him an A. I'll give him an A. Alright, next we got Big Merkava. Biggest Merkava. The one to devour this world shall be your Mingender. Me. I won't stop. I won't stop. So the cool thing about Merkava is like the void with a voice, you know. He's like the only void that can actually talk in human dialect from what I understand, and that's actually really impressive in and of itself. He's of course still a void, so he really hungers for, you know, killing humans and things like that still, so he's still a void. Let's see what it says down here. Jormungandr, I think that's just his ability. I think that's what he does in general. A mysterious figure. Merkava has a void shape, but a human's heart. He can speak and understand human language, which is what made him and Landrekia actually like really cool. His distinct consciousness stands at the opposition of one another. The void wishes to devour humans while the humans try to suppress the urges. As the void grows stronger day by day, Merkava searches for its cause. His search leads him to learn of Kuon's efforts to open the pit that will lead him into the night. Efforts that stir the void within Merkava, in hopes of attaining inner peace and to show Kuon the real Lord of Void is. Merkava sets out to devour his soul. So yeah, Merkava is I mean, he's a pretty interesting character. I mean, there's not much you can really say about him. He has a little bit of back history with one of the characters because, you know, it's one of those you killed my people stories. I don't remember if it was their parents or not, but it was somebody. It was somebody close to somebody in the story. If you remember, definitely leave that in the comments. I literally can like kind of recall pieces. I remember him meeting with Landrekia, and Landrekia let him go away because Landrekia was about to murk him, and he didn't do it. So, you know, shout out to Landrekia for being cool. So here's his new move. I'm assuming this is another overhead for him. Like, it's not his dash C, but it's a good overhead. So, I mean, he needs it. Let him have it. But yeah, so we see his arms are very formless. They can wiggle a little bit everywhere. I'm sure you guys have seen the meme where his arms are like shaking everywhere. That's Merkava. As far as his portrait, I don't like it, especially in the actual versus screen. You only see like this box of a head. You don't see anything else, and it doesn't look right. So honestly, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to give him. I mean, like, they don't show like any teeth or anything. Like, I might have to give him a D. I'm not gonna lie. He might be the first D over here, because this portrait could do a lot better. It definitely could. And I mean, it's not very defined. I don't think you can tell much about the character from this portrait, unfortunately. All right, so we got big Batista right here. Of course, her picture is amazing already. Let's just already give her a picture NA, like free, because they just did such great work with it. Like they did such great work with it. Perhaps this is the first time I have chosen my own path. Perhaps it'll be the last time as well. So yeah, this autonomous nerve chick right here. Her Aegis attributor. I think that's like the little wings things that make all her abilities work and all that stuff. So yeah, let me just read her description, because I mean, she's kind of, up to this point she was an onlooker, but then the Kuon things started to call her into action, which is kind of crazy. So I mean, like, it was like one of those things where she's just an innocent onlooker, or she was more of a, you know, a person to just watch it, and then it became more of a thing for her. So it says Batista is an autonomous nerve, a non-sentient biological weapon in the form of a young girl. She awakened under the detection of the anomalies within the Hollow Knight and successfully eradicated the paradox as instructed by her commander. Oh yeah, Hilda too. I mean, but Kuon is like the bigger threat here, but you know, at the same time, that is like her new goal, I'm sure. With peace restored, Batista was about to return to slumber, but then a new threat revealed itself, Kuon the Aeon, who threatened a great tragedy to the world of humankind if left unchecked. However, Batista never received orders to act, and so she sets out to do battle and save the world once again, this time of her own volition. So yeah, Batista actually like grew a lot as a character too. Her meeting like other characters and things like that actually developed her person as a person, because before she was just, you know, an autonomous body, a person that just kind of did what the will was, what the will of the person giving her orders was. And I mean, that was okay, like, because she did like a lot of the narrating at one point, and then it was like, oh, I gotta actually do something now, hold up. And that's why you end up playing as her and things like that as well. As you see, she only got dumber over time. Like, so now she has this move that hits all the way over here. I don't know what that move is, but that move looks crazy. Now this is the move I do know about right here, the disco ball. She shoots one of the things up in the sky, and then it starts disco balling everywhere on you, and you're like, bro, what do I do? I guess you just block, huh? Maybe block it. We'll see. We'll find out when the game comes out. But yeah, as I said, her portrait is amazing. Great job. 10 out of 10, perfect. All right, so next we have Seth. Seth is basically like he's one of the Nightblades, and basically his goal was to kill Elena at one point. Let me read this actually before we go into that. So, Princess of the Nightblade, have I grown strong enough to protect you? So, yeah, so Seth, as you guys know, is the really fast dude that everybody likes to play as, but he's really hard to play. He uses both of these. These are the Eliminators. Basically, they are like the weapon of the Nightblade. They are like passed down type weapons. So, like his father's father had used it before he used the type energy. It's really, really cool. So it says right here, Seth is a young warrior of the Nightblade who has earned the title of an assassin. In order to save Princess Elena, he defeated Hilda with his legendary weapon, the Blade of Judgment. Sometime later, Elena's older brother Kuon appears. He and his siblings bear the power of sealing, a curse left behind by the Nightblade of ages past. As a member of the modern day Nightblade, Seth has one purpose in childhood: to relive to relieve the siblings of their duties as keepers of the curse. Seth has already received Elena's power of sealing. In order to recover the remaining one from Kuon, Seth sets out into the night. So yeah, so Seth had, I mean, it was some minor character development. From what I remember, he was trying to kill Elena at one point, and I think he ended up like turning around on that. I don't remember what made him do that either. I'm still reading back through it again, y'all. I'm reading back through it. I read that like forever ago. So that's a thing. He's a guy. He's a character, all right. I don't know if him and Hyde get along particularly well, but you know, they can coexist, I guess. So this is like his new move. Like he basically sets a big black hole in the middle of the stage. If you run into it, you get hit. It's the same as basically what the arrows did, but it's just basically a more of a Oki setup option type deal. Really, really nice button. And I think this is an overhead, maybe. I think they just gave a lot of people overheads in this game. That's what I'm starting to see. I don't know if it's an overhead or not. It looks like it based off of the arc of how it goes and then where it ends up at the end. So yeah, look out for Seth. Seth has more mixed options. As for his portrait, actually, you know what's really weird about this portrait? Even though there's minimal movement, right? The belt is kind of flowing a little bit. You know, the front of the coat is kind of moving a little bit. The hair is on point. No nose, no face, no mouth, you know. But that is like the assassin in him, and I think that personifies him really, really well. Especially like the pose. The pose is very active. It looks like he just got done zipping across the screen and he had to like stop for a picture or something. Something kind of sick like that. So honestly, call me biased, y'all. Call me biased. I might give this one an A anyway. I might just give it an A anyway, just because of what it does. I wish it like had like some part of like the streak from him like zipping to where he got to, but at the same time, it shows enough action to show that he like actually zipped and stopped for the picture. So that was really good. I like it. Next we have Yuzuriha. Yuzuriha is a really, really cool character. At first, it was really weird because I liked her just off of her appearance, but now that I know like who she is as a character from the story and things like that, she's actually really, really dope. I like what she stands for. She's another one of those characters that's very, very dutiful. But she also has a will of her own. Like that is one thing. She is the opposite of Orie. Orie did not have like a volition of her own at that point. Yuzu has always done things the way she wanted to do things. The way her and Ogre interacted was very, 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 very meaningful to me. I think it made me like both the characters more. Now then, let's see which one of us takes down that Aeon brat first. So her weapon is the Iris Blade, the Kamizi no Himari, which is this very, very long sword that she carries with her everywhere she goes. It is a family weapon, if I'm not mistaken. It's an heirloom weapon, because she uses it to protect the shrine and things like that. So that's a thing. Her ability is Ainsel Lost. I actually don't know what Ainsel Lost does, like in particular for her. If anyone knows, please comment down below as always. we're still new here. We're still new out here, y'all. We're still like me actually sinking my teeth into this lore, like seriously, is happening now. So look forward to that. Yuzu Riha is a member of the Dual Moon clan, a group of warriors that split off from the Nightblade long ago. She currently serves as the guardian of the shrine meant to protect her town from the forces of night. Yuzu Riha fought many battles during the Amnesia Reign of Terror, eventually succeeding in suppressing them. One day, however, Kuon the Aeon, the former leader of the Nightblade, appeared before her. His presence reminded her of the great incident that in the distant past that forced the schism between the Nightblade and the Dual Moon clan. Though Yuzu Riha has no direct connection to this ancient scandal, she decides to confront Kuon to get payback for her clan and clear out all the doubt within herself. Something just don't sit right with me. And I mean, she's right. She's right. Like, it's just kind of, yeah, it's off. So it looks like she has a real DP this time. So honestly, like, I think that was one of the things she was really lacking, was a solid anti-air option. Because, you know, you had to do the twirly twirl thing to get a really good angle. Because her, you know, her crouching C or her 2C was very, very linear. And a lot of her buttons are very, very linear. So honestly, giving her something to contest that is really, really good. As for her portrait, I like the flow. The flow is pretty nice. It's pretty good. The plot is pretty strong. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they definitely have her on point. Like, her proportions are pretty nice. That's all I'm gonna say. Her proportions are pretty solid. But I like the overall, like, complementing colors, of course, just of her fit in general. I mean, honestly, if I didn't give Yuzu Riha an A, who would I be? That's definitely an A. Free. Alright, so now we have Hilda. Hilda is definitely mommy out here for sure. 3000%. However, you know, so we'll see. We'll see what's up with Hilda next. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with her. Yeah, so we'll see. I simply won't hear it. I'll show you who's the strongest in birth really is. So okay, so Hilda, I mean, she was the whole problem. She you know, she was trying to open up the night portal, you know, the big back portal that you see on her stage. She was trying to do the same thing that I think Kuon is trying to do, but I think Kuon actually knows what to do with it. She just wants the power from it, which is, you know, the typical villain thing to do. So Hilda is an extraordinary wielder with enough power to become a rebirth. She founded Amnesia Organization and even once ruled the world, albeit for a short time. What caused her defeat? Standing out too much and taking on too many enemies. Though her ambitions were stifled, her rage was not. The appearance of Kuon, the Rebirth, a title she wanted for herself, and his boast for the ending of the world only served to make her angry. With renewed determination, Hilda swears from the bottom of her heart to become the strongest once more. By defeating the Rebirth and taking for herself the immense powers overflowing from the abyss. Alright, so we have with Hilda, we have these spear things. I feel like she already had these. Like, maybe did she have them in BB Tag or something like that? I don't know. But it feels like a move that she's already had. They've come up out of the ground. Another direction from spears to come out, of course, you know. That is the Hilda way to do things. Alright, so as for this portrait, I like the deep dank smoke from it. You know, the deep dank smoke is kind of OD. I'm definitely a fan of it. You know, the purple haze as it will be. I think it's really supposed to be black, you know, because that's her weapon. Her weapons are all black. Masquerade and the Paradox are like her thing. As you see, she likes her, you know, her black and white motif anyway. She dresses that way. Her eye color is that way. Yeah, Hilda's just an all over, like, she's kind of a badass. She's kind of dope. I like her a lot. It is unfortunate what happened to her, and I hope she doesn't win. Because there's nothing good that will come out of her winning, so let's keep it that way. I kind of want to give it a B. Because she's just kind of doing the pose she always does. There's nothing, like, really dynamic about it. I mean, this is very much her personality, very true. But I feel like you could have had a better pose. I feel like you could have had a better pose than just her sitting like normal. Alright, so next we have Chaos. Chaos right here. First of all, this portrait is interesting. Okay, we'll come back to that later. It really is a pity. I wish there were a way to keep our relationship. So yeah, big chaos out here, you know, the boy of his own team. This man is literally like the elite strategist of the world type deal. He not only did he finesse his way into the Lit Price headquarters, but he also stole that book which gave him his power over Ozzy. So basically, his ability is chaos code. His ability lets him read books and draw power from them. Like, he can even read a book that's not in his language and it'll speak to him. The book will translate to him something he can understand, and it just kind of works. I don't really know much else about that. It just kind of works, you know. Sometimes the power just works. But anyway, Chaos is a member of Amnesia who prefers fighting with brains rather than brawn. He once conspired with Kuon, the Aeon, in the shadows in exchange for secret information regarding the night. This conspiracy ended when Kuon suddenly cut ties with him, and Chaos knew exactly why. The Aeon had all the pieces to enact his plan. Kuon's actions could only mean one thing: a pit has opened in the night, heralding the end of the world. Unable to sit back and watch the world be destroyed, Chaos decides to confront Kuon and learn the truth from his flesh. So yeah, so like as I was saying before, Chaos is a person on his own team. He will do anything to make sure he has the upper hand in a situation. Gordo trusted him, and like I said, they have a friendship. Like, I still think there's a friendship there. He's definitely, like, you know, a double agent though. He's one of those guys. And he actually helped Kuon get a lot of things into place, unfortunately, off of Hilda's back, because he had intel he shouldn't have had. But yeah, so as you guys know, Chaos likes using Ozzy. Ozzy's right here, the big old lizard thing, as they describe him, you know. Really cool guy. Ozzy basically is his puppet character thing. So it's not quite a puppet character, but you know, he can summon him out mid combo and do things like that with him. But Chaos also can do a little bit of stuff by himself too. He doesn't always need Ozzy to do full combos and things like that. I like the big old fire though. The big fire, that move might be broke, because you see how far this goes. Like, this is almost full screen. That's kind of crazy. And it looks like, I don't know if they're showing his assault or if they're showing a move where Ozzy's on the wall, because if you look on the other side, right, you're seeing Chaos jump right here, but I also see Ozzy sticking to the wall, and I don't think he stuck to the wall before. So hopefully that's not as scary as it looks. We'll see. We will find out when the game drops. All right, and here's his portrait. I always love his kicks. His kicks are cool. Like, the kicks in the jeans combo is kind of fire. The turtleneck is okay with the jacket. However, I will say this portrait is not it. This portrait does not look cool. His last portrait looked way better than this one. Honestly, I don't know. Like, it's just the chin area. The chin area to the no-nose combo. It just kind of makes him look kind of silly. He looks like Krillin almost off of Dragon Ball. But ultimately, I think I'm gonna give this one a C for Chaos. You know, Chaos tier, C tier. They could have did a little bit more with him. They could have had a pose where he put his head down with like the glasses like that or something like that, so you see a full facial profile type deal. I think that'd have been nicer. Also, the book is not in active motion, because I wish they had like the book like halfway through like a page turn, so like the page was like kind of curled over. Would have been really nice. Would have been really nice. All right, so next we have Big Nanase out here. Big Nanase, you know, the Amy Rose of the Under Night universe, as I call her. But I mean, you know, that's not entirely true. It's okay though. What if the world really ends? What about me? What about my feelings? So yeah, Nanase is a, you know, a very interesting character, to say the absolute least. She's very good at jumping, not only in neutral but also to conclusions. I don't like this picture. She looks like a Gerber baby, but we'll come back to that too. Her weapon is the Zephyr right here, this big old sword, and it has the ability of wind. So you see her using a lot of wind moves, very wind powered, which is really cool too. Nanase is a mysterious girl who is stubbornly targeted high. Nanase has finally succeeded in capturing her prey. The two of them arrive at a temporary truce. However, this peace was not to last. Rumors that the rebirth Kuon has appeared and promises to wreak havoc on the world reaches Nanase's ears. And if Kuon destroys the world, all Nanase's beloved sweets will be destroyed along with it. As if that didn't give her reason enough to fight, she has an even deeper worry. What if the world is destroyed before she can vent her special feelings stirring inside her? To settle all that matters with the one, Nanase sets out into the hollow night. So yeah, so basically she's literally like, I don't know, she is the Under Night version of Amy Rose. Like, she not only blamed Hyde for, you know, getting her boy powers, or to getting her in-birth powers rather, she also like goes out of her way to make sure she finds him all the time type energy. And it definitely reminds me of like Amy chasing Sonic. And I mean, as you see at the end, she definitely has special feelings for Hyde. So yeah, we'll see where that goes with her story. I've seen this move more times than I can count. Basically, imagine like Milia Disc is what she has. Like, she literally has like Guilty Gear Milia Disc in this game, and that move is so crazy because you see how big this is. You press the wrong button, you're getting smoked. As I said, for the portrait, I'm not really a big fan. I think the proportions are kind of goofy. Like, first of all, her face. Let's talk about her face. Her face looks really, really weird, especially with no nose. Like, she looks like, and she has no teeth in the portrait. It's like, it's really, really off. It's really off-putting for me personally. And her leg seems kind of small here. I don't know. Definitely not my favorite. I think I'm going to give her a D as well. So, yeah, that is Nanase. Now, it's time. It is time for the big boy, Byakua. Which is really weird because I actually don't think I've seen his portrait at all. I don't really know how many people played him. I saw like probably 2 people playing this character at Evo. So let's see what it says. Fine by me. I've already decided wherever you go, I go, sis. So Byakua is a very, very sad story. I don't really know how old Byakua is. I'm like assuming he's like 14-ish, 14 maybe 15. Very young, very, very naive. His life revolved around his sister. His personality revolves around him being a sister lover. I don't know. Like, he's not quite my cup of tea. I thought he'd be a little bit more badass. He's not quite that. However, he does do some crazy stuff because of his love for his sister. So there's that. All right. So his weapons are the predators. It's these things that are kind of like, they kind of remind me of spider limbs. And I think that's the point because, you know, he does the spider web thing and all that stuff too. So the young Byakua wandered into the night in despair until he came across a young girl striking resemblance to his beloved sister when he was mourning. Attributing that meeting to destiny, Byakua decided to address the girl as sis and agreed to help her in search for someone. Byakua learned of his sister's cruel past, but his love for her didn't waver one bit. In fact, if anything, it grew stronger. As a pair search through the night, they hear rumors that the world will soon meet its end. Oh, how I'd love to see the end of days together with you, sister. But we must continue our search. Their decision made the two of them set out for the abyss tonight in order to save the world. So, Tsukiyomi is the girl that you normally see him with. His sister's name is... What is his sister's name? His sister's name is not Kaguya, right? It's something like that, though. It has something to do with like the moons in the sky or something like that. I remember that part of her name. And his name has something to do with like the sun. Really interesting stuff, honestly. However, the girl that he's walking around with is not actually his sister. His sister, unfortunately, is not alive anymore. Like, she's definitely dead to our knowledge. And I think it's actually like confirmed that she is really dead. However, he refuses to accept this. This is not something he is willing to accept because this is his driving force for him going on in life. And he finds out, you know, his sister's been doing a lot of the stuff in the night and stuff like that too. So yeah, so she's already been involved in this stuff, and he just recently got involved in it himself. So now he finds himself in a very, very weird position where he's just doing his thing to try to find his sister. Because she's definitely not dead, right? She's definitely not dead. You know, the night isn't over and all those different things. So, and then there's another layer to the story too, because Tsukiyomi, if I'm not mistaken, Tsukiyomi is the girl that was initially with the squad that Ogre was with. However, because one of them got infected by the red juice, I forgot what that stuff's called too, the red juice stuff. That's why I remember it's like red goopy goo stuff from the basically the backyard, you know, the Guilty Gear backyard thing. Essentially that's why she's rolling with him, because her teammate, one of them is dead. Ogre's gone, he's dead as far as we know. He's done, finito. And then other girl, I always forget her name, starts with a Z. She is waiting to be DLC. No, but she is actually infected, if I'm not mistaken, by the virus. So that's a thing too. So yeah, so it's a very messy story right now. It's a very, very messy point in the story, and I think, like I said, this finale is going to do wonders for the story, especially once I completely understand what's going on. I think it's going to be a very, very solid closeout. But Byakua's story is very interesting, not only for him, but it's for the people around him that it affects. Long story short, if anyone wants to set me straight on anything I said about Byakua's story, please do down in the comments, or anything on this. Please say something down in the comments. You know, that is why DDF has the video right now. DDF has the whole video. So this move I've seen more times than I can count. Everyone at Evo loves this move. So basically, imagine like Carmine Spike. Carmine Spike, the blood spike that goes up, is basically a move that Byakua has. However, it does not cost him health. So yeah, imagine you working really, really hard with Carmine, but then Byakua can just do this. And I'm sure he can combo off of it. I never saw anyone combo off of it, but I saw that thing does hit full screen. And then the super does it 3 times, because the super goes like 1, 2, 3. So that move's gonna be very impressive. Byakua's already good, he's gonna be better. As for this picture, I like his pose. It's very Byakua-like. You know, it's very condescending in a way. And he looks very like Stone Cold Killerish, even without the nose. I give this one a B. This one's a B for sure. So yeah, this is Phonon. She's pretty cool. She's pretty lit. She is a very interesting character when you get to know about her. I'd never expected half of the stuff from her that she is. She is very like, I thought she'd be very, very chill and very, very calm or something like that. Nah, she's kind of amped. She's kind of pumped. I like it a lot. Let's go crazy on this final stage, okay, partner? And you see what I'm saying? Like, just stuff like that, like, portrays who she is. Like, it definitely portrays her as a great character. Like, she's really, really good as a supporting cast member. She's not really like a main. She's definitely not a main character, I'll say that. Her weapon is Muniel. It is this big old whip right here. It comes from this familiar that she has. I think actually the familiar's name is Muniel. But anyway, little like serpent thing. But it turned into a whip. So yeah. So drunk on visions of the comic book superheroes after acquiring a powerful exodus, Phonon frolicked along the night. Her high spirits gave her the momentum she needed to defeat the evil boss, and in turn boosting her confidence and pushing her even further. That's when the foul rebirth appeared, plotting his immortalize his plan to bring the world to an end by flooding it with voids. But Phonon greeted the catastrophe with a smile. Now that's what I'm talking about. Ignoring her orders from the EFG, Phonon throws herself into the night. I never played well with others anyway. So yeah, Phonon is, like I said, Phonon is a very, very interesting character comparatively to what you thought. I don't know what this move is. I didn't see a single Phonon at Evo. I don't think a lot of people like really like played this character. I don't know. There's a few people that play this character. I mean, you know, Jack plays this character, if you know who I'm talking about. Shout out to them. Shout out to Jack Ingolf, you know that guy. GOAT. The silent man, the silent hoop. Yeah, so yeah, her portrait's really fire. I like it. You know, very dynamic whip shot, really, really nice. Very, very elegant pose, honestly, and I like how the leggings kind of complement the shadowing. But yeah, nah, I definitely think Phonon, like, I want to give it an A, but I think it's just a B, because I don't know. It's just Phonon. Phonon's a B. Definitely a B. Next we got Miss Mika. I want to say that this is a joke that they don't have a quote for her at the top. I want to say that that's the joke, because for the longest time she did not have a Vorpal trait. She did not. Everybody else got benefits for being in Vorpal. She did not have one. And that is very, very funny. Mika's story is probably one of the most crazy things that you have ever heard of. Like, literally, this girl is not supposed to be here. Her orders were, stay back, you are not able to go. So she tried to sneak out, got locked up. She snuck out of being locked up, and then she tried to fly there on her Paco Bell weapon. It says Baco Bell right here, Baco Bell cannon. Maybe that's the true translation of it, but she calls it like the Paco Bell, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, she made her way to Japan by herself. I wonder if they said that. Yeah, it says it down here, actually. It says it down here the same way. Defying orders from her superiors. And it was crazy because she was like stranded too. She got like stranded in the middle of the ocean type beat. And it was some crazy stuff. I think it was like she got stranded in the middle of the ocean. Then she ended up on an island. And then she ended up getting shipped to Japan because she wanted to so badly that they were like, okay, you might as well just let her go at this point. But ultimately, yeah, so she defied orders from her superiors. Mika struck out on her own to a far eastern nation to help her friend Orie out of a tough battle and to satisfy her own curiosity while she was at it. She had overcome a myriad of challenges along the way, but at last she had arrived in the island nation of Japan. She got there just in time to help her friends too. But now a new challenge awaits. Kuon, the rebirths immortalized. Nuh-uh, mister, I can't let you do that. Thus begins Mika's new fight. Mika is a character. I hate fighting her, but I respect her so much. It is such a really interesting dynamic for this character to be among the Lit Christ, because the Lit Christ is a very, very serious organization, and she adds that ray of light to it, you know. She makes it her own type of deal. All right, so this is like one of her new moves. So it looks like it is the like overhead probably that everyone else has now. We're all getting overheads now. That's what we're looking at. We're looking like overhead game. So that's gonna be kind of nuts. Looks like a dash move almost. Like, you see the after image from it. I don't know what is happening on this after image right now, because it looks like it came from a dash. Maybe it's a dash special. Maybe she has a dash A. I don't know. Or like a dash move that she can do out of dash. I don't know. Because this move looks kind of crazy. It has after images, because I don't know if you guys know, they took after images off of dash, and now you see one right here. So maybe this move is very special. We'll find out what she's doing with her Looney Tunes over here. She's you know, she's moving her Gear 5 energy around. But yeah. So Mika's picture. All right, Mika's picture, I gotta give it a 5. I gotta give it a for sure. There's just too much right with it. Like the big old gloves, the goofy smile. Like, I love this. I love this for her. I mean, you know, she has her mouth open. She's very jovial, very happy to be here. The glove looks really, really huge. You can see how big these things really are. And of course, the overall fit. The overall fit is really, really pieced together. Very, very nice. She has, you know, like the little goofy boots. She has the shorts, but they're flowing still. I mean, it all flows together. It looks like one big like jumping yay motion that she does. You know how she does like the little yay victory pose, and then like the glove drops on her head. That type of beat. It's like that. Really, really good. All right, so we got Miss Wagner. I think her name is Eliza, right? Or Eliza or something like that. What's her name? I don't remember. Like Eliza Wagner or something like that. Something interesting. But they call her by her surname, Wagner, which is her family lineage name. I am the blazing storm, raging incandescence itself, the fire of death that scorches the earth and chars the very heavens. And yeah, that is Wagner. Wagner is a very hot-blooded individual. She is very, very eccentric, as you guys can see. You can see by her hair. Not even that, but just like her whole get-up. Like, she has like a whole like cloak on. She's suited up to the nines, bro. She's out here. Her weapon is the firebrand and the Ansel. The Ansel is the shield, of course. Firebrand is the weapon. Flame Tyrant is her ability. She uses fire in her attacks. Now, Wagner is the strongest sword in Lit Christ and is proud of it. She was dispatched to this area when her acquaintance Oria resides. Under orders to learn valuable lessons outside of combat, after resolve, she was dispatched to this area where her acquaintance Orie resides, under orders to learn valuable lessons outside of combat. After resolving the amnesia affair with her overwhelming strength, she noticed an ominous energy still permeated the land, and energy that was meant to be there was another battle yet ahead. Her hunch soon proved to be the true Kuon, the Aeon's incursion. Her mission to destroy Kuon, even if it costs her her life. Wagner draws her sword once again to prove her worth to the Lit Christ and to his leader Adelheid. So yeah, so Wagner is literally like, she's, without a better word for it, she's the Vegeta. She's the Vegeta of the story, right? She does everything for herself. She does it. She wants to be the one, you know, she wants to keep, you know, her family heritage very alive because she's very proud of her family heritage. They sent her there initially just to like have her, you know, be there while Orie does the work basically. However, you know, she wasn't going to stand for that because, as I said earlier, her and Orie are rivals. Like, she doesn't want to get outdone by Orie in any type of way. And in fact, she swears she's better than her in every way anyway. So that is the Wagner way. As for her new moves, she looks like she has like a new aerial juggle move, which is going to be really good because she does a lot on the ground already. I think giving her another air move would be nice because normally she just does like dive kicks and things like that. Nothing too crazy, but I think this move just adds that little extra hit to her repertoire. Makes her really, really nice. Also, she has a geyser now, so yeah, she doesn't have to commit to that anti-air no more. She can just go geyser, bow. I'm assuming that will probably cost grid. I'm assuming because she has a DP too. So I don't understand why they gave her a geyser and this at the same time. Maybe there's a purpose for it. Who knows? We'll find out when the game drops. As I said, as for her fit, I think her fit honestly is really, really strong. Like the flow of the cape and everything. Like she got the loose cape on, you know, the vibes. The hair is flowing, you know, the goofy boots are on. I think it's definitely a solid B design. Definitely a solid B design. I like the belt. The belt kind of fire. Like it has like a belt here, but there's like a cord that goes around. I don't know where the cord goes to, but you know, nothing wrong with a belt with some extra accessories. We love it. We love to see it. It's very anime. But yeah, overall, I definitely give her a B. Nothing too crazy. I definitely like how they detailed the eyes though. I can say that for sure. And next we have Big Enkidu. Enkidu, the strongest person in the entire world out here. Like, this dude is out here literally holding himself back with these shackles to make sure he does not murk everyone at the same time. Too bad he's not a good guy. Too bad he's not actually a good guy. Unfortunate. It'd be like that. So in the grand scheme of things, special powers don't matter much. The strong will win and the weak will not. So he doesn't use a weapon, but his ability is Maelstrom, which allows him to use that purple stuff, and it allows him to also get the Havoc off. So the Havoc is the thing that like completely destroys somebody for a counter hit. He does way more damage on counter hit than other people do. I don't know if people knew that. So yeah, so don't get hit by Havoc at all. You'll be regretting it. So Enkidu's tireless pursuit of martial arts perfection leads him into combat with ever stronger opponents. After tiring of fighting mere humans, he began challenging inverts. Even given their supernatural prowess, only a handful of inverts stood a chance against Enkidu. He even managed to defeat the Paradox, who is considered the strongest of all of them. Then a man appeared before Enkidu and told him, "If you join me, I can introduce you to the Aeon." Thus begins Enkidu's final battle. So yeah, so Enkidu, like I said, he's not a good guy. I don't know. I don't consider him a good guy. He's just kind of like, he's just there to fight. He has a very dark power within him, to say the least. I'm sure you guys have seen his veil off, his IWX. The super where he takes the chains off and he does like the little monster face and he like punches you like and you die type beat. So that's like a thing. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, that's Enkidu. So yeah, Enkidu has more counter abilities. Like he can actually counter other things, and I think that turns into a projectile actually. I think if he counters you with this one, it turns it into a projectile, which is going to be kind of crazy. And now he has a guard break, so that is like going to be the best. I'm sure we're gonna have fun dealing with the Enkidu guard break. He has the like a new move that guard breaks you, so look forward to getting smoked in neutral by that button. Be scared. They buffed Enkidu finally. Shout out to CG. As for the portrait, what I have to say next, right? We saw this, like this is like one of the first things we saw when this game was like announced, is they showed, I think, Lene, Aurier, and Enkidu. Those were like the 3 arts that they showed. Enkidu's art looks immaculate. It looks so good. It looks so good. It looks better than his old art in my opinion. You see like the little wrinkles in his forehead. He's very serious. You can see it in his body, right? He's very fierce, but he's very, very calm too. Like you see that his Sendor body is not stressed. His arms are very focused on putting out that energy. And it shows it on his face too. Like, yeah, his face is very calm at the bottom, but it's very tense at the top. You know, he's very focused on putting it out. The hair loop looks really, really good in this art. Like, I think the old hair loop art looked really, really good, but no, this one looks even better, which is crazy to say. Also, I mean, you have the Fudoshi over here, so the Fudoshi looks really, really good. I think this is what that's called, right? A Fudoshi. If it's not, then my bad. But yeah, like, it has the belts envisioned. The belts are there. It shows all the other parts of the fit, and it goes all the way down to the boots at the bottom. So, you know, he got the drip. He got the drip. Definitely an A tier visual. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so next we have Big Landrekia, the Fox Off Supreme right here, right? So basically, yeah, this character, very, very cool guy. He fights for the guy version of the Lit Christ, right? The Ritter Shield. Basically, after the Waldstein incident, from what I recall, they had to separate because of the clashing ideals starting to happen within the group. So the boys went to the Ritter Shield and the girls went to the Lit Christ. They kind of both do the same thing. And sometimes I believe they even collaborate, I think that's how that works. So yeah, so you got Landrekia right here, Big Landrekia with the pixie cut. And this big old thing behind him. His weapon is this riddle. This thing is called the riddle. And what he does is he uses ice. I'm sure a lot of you know that because Clear was kind of a little bit more publicized than the other uni games. Let's see what this says. A transient yet dazzling illusion. Platinum dancing through falling snow. I hope you enjoyed it. So, let's see what his blurb also says too. A prodigy from the Ritter Shield, Landrekia traveled to these lands to settle the score with his rival, Erica Wagner. Oh, also I forgot to mention that, yeah, his rival is Erica Wagner. Erica Wagner's rival is Aurier. Very odd, right? Fire and Ice, you know, rivalry, and then Aurier and Wagner rivalry. So he accomplished this goal while on a mission to suppress amnesia, but the biggest threat of all, Kuon the Aeon, soon appeared before him. To Landrekia, though, even the appearance of this powerful rebirth is just another opportunity for him to put up results for the Ritter Shield. He hopes his efforts in defending the town from Kuon and demonstrating the powers of the Ritter Shield will reach Adelheld, who waits a faraway land. So yeah, so as I was saying, yeah, they separated the boys from the girls. There's kind of like a healthy rivalry there, maybe a little bit unhealthy, but you know, there's a rivalry there of the Ritter Shield wanting to be better than the Lit Christ and vice versa. They didn't really introduce the Ritter Shield until a little bit later, from what I recall. And of course, I mean, you know, with him, they actually put them in the story, so that's a thing too. He was definitely in the story before he got in the game, though. I do remember that. So here's his new ability. His new ability is this move. It looks like, so I'm assuming that just because they're showing the gauge like this at 100 meter, I'm assuming he spent another part of the 100 meter. And they're also the portrait there. I think that means it's a special maybe. But yeah, basically they gave him the Zamasu super, right? So the Zamasu like fighter super where he drops the blades and all those things, instead it's ice here. So another move for Landrekia to oppress you with and then freeze you to death. Very, very nice. As for his art, it looks very, very similar to the old art, honestly. It looks similar, at least in my brain. I think it's a very, very good pose for him. I think it's very, you know, very upright. You know, he's very, you know, he's very formal, very functional, and very, very strong too. It shows like a lot of power in the stance. So honestly, I think I might give this one an A actually, and it's just because of how powerful he stands. I don't like these shorts. I've never liked the shorts into the leggings action. I don't know if these are leggings or boots. I don't know. I'm not a fan. Switch that up next time. But anyway, everything else looks really, really good. Definitely give him an A. And alas, we have ended up on Miss Kaguya. So Kaguya is the new character that they just showed off. Even though she's been in the story at some point, she appeared in like the back of Orie's, I think it was like her ending, or if it was like a part of her story or something like that. She used to have this veil on. She used to have like this veil look on, which is really, really interesting that she doesn't wear that now. And maybe it was to obscure her face, I don't know. But yeah, so now we have Kaguya. She has 2 guns. That is like her thing. She is the sniper / shooter of the Lit Christ, so that's gonna be really cool to see. She has the twin Garibaldis, they're called, the Garibaldi right and the Garibaldi left. And her ability is Banisher. I'm wondering if that has anything to do with the little bouncing balls on the screen. I wish they showed more of how her abilities work, but you know, we'll find out when the game actually drops. And her blurb says, due to her exceptional combat prowess, the Lit Christ sends Kaguya on various missions all over the world. Her next destination, Japan, where her best friend Ori is currently stationed. Kaguya discovers that many other Lit Christ commanding officers are gathered here too, and it becomes more determined to protect her friends and the world. So man, they put the white word on the white pants leg. Why'd they do that? Y'all need to put like a shadow over this or something. I don't know, that's kind of hard to read. But anyway, we really kind of don't know too much about her. We just know she's really strong. I think she's like is she like top 2 in the Lit Christ hierarchy? She's really, really high up. I think she's like second only to the Zero, from what I remember, which is Adelheld, right? So that's a thing. Yeah. So she uses her guns. They're used for zoning, as you'd be believing, you know. She has these 2 beams that come out of her guns. She has some gun normals. She has like a flip shot. She has like a Seth move right here. This little dash right here is an attack. But I guess she can also use it as a movement option. I don't know. Now I'm seeing it like this. Maybe it's a movement option too. But it also has a hitbox on it, so you can get hurt by that move. She's very dangerous. Very, very strong. I can't wait to see what her involvement is in the story and how she will help. Because I'm sure like they brought her here for a reason, you know, not just to assist Orie, but to also further the story in a direction that we did not expect. So as for her portrait, I mean, we've talked about her portrait probably a million times now because she's so new. Her portrait honestly is a A. I mean, not only like is the smile on point, but like the flowing hair, it shows very action shotty. The pose is really nice. She has the gun pointed at the screen. She has the other gun ready. She said, if I gotta use 2, then that means you're dead, you know, type energy. So I really, really like her vibe. Her vibe is really, really cool. Yeah, definitely A design for sure. And finally, we are on to the girl of the hour, Miss Eltnum. We have made it. We have made it this far. So Eltnum is, you know, Eltnum. Eltnum is, of course, a character that is not of this world, from what we know. She is from a different game. I don't remember what the name of that game is. If you know what the name of the game is, please tell me in the comments. She looks very familiar though. Her ability, she uses her ether light to not only read people's minds, but to also attack people. Mostly in Under Night, she uses it to attack people, which is really, really cool. Her ability is analysis, so she can think on multiple channels at once. She is the smartest person in the room at all times. She has to be. I'm not being sarcastic at all. That is just, you know, the Elton way. Her quote is, "I have faith that you're finally capable of putting up a moderately decent fight." So, you know, she's not very condescending. She's very humble on herself. She's very, you know, very normal. Let's see what her blurb says. Elton is a guest character who wandered in this world and set up herself to teach the rookie characters a lesson. Her efforts have been fruitful, and the successful release of the second installment of the series marks 10 years of Elton surviving in this strange world. Elton never thought she'd find a place to go back to, but now one has appeared, a glorious, bright, and some might say, luminous place. She deeply regrets her decisions, but all the regrets in the world won't send her back. She must find her own way home, but not before giving the rookies of the world one last lesson, of course. So yeah, so she's going to, you know, be teaching these rookies a lesson. But then she's gonna return somewhere. I don't know where that place is, you know. It very well could be the other game that we like to play a lot on this channel. And you know, there's a very strong hint that, you know, she might be returning to the luminous place, so to speak. So let's look forward to see what she does. Honestly, she has a lot of new moves. So they're only showing the one. This is her new, if I'm not mistaken, this is like her, I think it's like a forward C. I think it's like 6C if I'm not mistaken, because I used that move quite a bit when I played her at Evo. That move is really fun to use. That is a great overhead. It bounces you off the ground after you hit them, especially on counter hit. It's really nice. You can even combo with it. You can use it mid combo and it bounces off the ground still. She also has another move actually where you charge the whip, the ether light whip, right? Where she like kind of whips it out there. If you charge that, she'll pick it up and she'll throw you behind her, and that like can take you from like one side of the screen to the other side. It's really, really nice. It's a good button. Elton is going to be crazy this time. Like, she was already crazy before, but now she is like double crazy. So look forward to seeing some of her. You know, we'll definitely be playing her. As for the portrait, you can never go wrong with Elton for me personally. So I mean, this is always going to get an A in my book. You know, the hair aesthetic, you know, the equal light aesthetic. You see how they counterbalance each other. This C is going this way, this C is going the opposite way. But then her body is flowing the opposite way, and then her other hand is flowing the opposite. So much flowetry with this picture. Like, they put a lot of love into this one. But yeah, that's Elton. Why is this guy always so mad? He looks so upset. He is upset to be here. I don't know. Like he said, I haven't clocked out in 100 years, bro. That's just what it is. This is the boy Akatsuki. Shout out to Akatsuki Blitzconf out here. So yeah, Akatsuki is another guest character. His weapon is the Tatishizbazong. I said that right, don't worry about it. It's these gloves right here. You know, the gloves have these little circuits on them, you know, little thing. And he has the ability to use this thing called a blitz motor. And the blitz motor, I think, is what generates the electricity that comes out of these gloves, which is really, really cool. Have I wandered into that world again? This sort of thing has been happening more and more frequently ever since I woke up. So yeah, so yet another guest character we have, Akatsuki. Akatsuki not only appeared in this game, he appeared in BB Tag too, which is another place where he actually kind of just appeared at, you know, and that's what he's referencing, I believe. So he's just everywhere now. Akatsuki is a household name. So Akatsuki is a guest character who's summoned by the world by unfortunate coincidence. He's apparently quite popular, and he finds himself summoned to even more worlds these days. Akatsuki awoke after the previous battle and couldn't tell left from right. Still, he managed to overcome his challenges with exceptional intellect and strength. After escaping the mysterious night, Akatsuki followed his orders to set out to the Akogahara Sea of Trees. All that awaited him there, however, was yet another night. The final powerful true night. In fact, will Akatsuki finally find his way back to his home world before another game comes out there? So I don't know if this was a hint or not. I'm gonna drop the facade on this one. I personally don't know if this is another hint or not. Like, this very well could be another hint at another Akatsuki Blitzconf game. Currently we have 2 games, but then in Ein's Perfect World just had a update to the current version that it's at, which I think they dropped that last year if I'm not mistaken. And it has the robo looking Akatsuki guy. I had to try that version at some point. But yeah, no, so Akatsuki literally got dropped in here. They said basically he woke up after the war, 100 years ahead of the war, which is kind of crazy. And then now he's getting dropped back into yet another struggle, which is kind of crazy. So I mean, I don't know. I feel really bad for Akatsuki. He needs some rest. He's very mad that he's here, as you can tell. He's not happy. You know, maybe we should turn that frown into a smile. Let me edit that on here. All right, cool. Glad to have you back, Akatsuki. And as for Akatsuki, I know Akatsuki has a couple new moves. I know he has a charge shot now. He can do like the charge electric ball. And I think he has like a parry super. I think like, so now if you do like the parry and you do like an input, he has a parry super, which does just like the punch. It doesn't do like anything too crazy. But yeah, Akatsuki's back again. And you know who we about to play? We about to play a lot of Akatsuki. Like, I don't know. There's something about this character that I really enjoy. And I think it's just the fact that he's mad 24/7. But yeah. So that is literally all the characters. All right. As for the game and how to play, we're just going to kind of fly through this because I know this video has been already pretty long as it is. Definitely longer than most of my videos normally. But yeah, so now they're going to teach you how to play. So basically the operation of how the game works is you're trying to fight for Vorpal and things like that. We'll come back to these things like a little bit later. These are like literally the basics. When the TS gauge timer is completed 1 cycle, the player who's winning the gauge will enter the Vorpal state, which is where the aura is on them. Then you also have other abilities from that, like increased attack power. You have chain shift, which is the little freeze. You have cross cast veil off, which is the explosion thing. And it's really cool that they have like these little things that tell you what they are. They show you the little blurb for them. So yeah, cross cast veil off. Basically it's like your what is it? It's like the one more in Persona, the one that uses like the burst, that one, or like a RC in Guilty Gear currently. Like how it pops you up a little bit more, it's like that. But it also gives you unlimited gauge for a period of time or until you use enough moves. So to enter Vorpal state, you have to do the following things to increase the grid gauge. You have to move forward, hit opponents, guard attacks, and shield successfully, and more. Just make use of the things to win. Now, as for the characters, as for the game, right? Now, as for the game, you have a lot of new elements. You have new moves for all characters. All characters have new moves, which is going to be amazing. You have Creeping Edge, which is the roll thing. Basically, you can kind of slide through people's offense and things like that. I think that is going to change the game a lot in how it's played. People are going to be trying to bait out people using Creeping Edge. And I think it's going to be a lot more patient overall, honestly. Now, one thing I know about Creeping Edge is if you use Creeping Edge, you lose a little bit of grid. That I do know. Because I was wondering, like, what is the downside of using that move all the time? It is definitely that you lose grid. And if you lose too much grid, or if they gain too much, then they enter Celestial Vorpal. Because if you have 6 of these filled up, when the actual gauge is over, all the grid goes to the player who did that, and you get a lot of attack power buffs in it. I think you get about maybe 40 or 50%, one of the two. Please let me know down below as per usual. It is a game changer. Like, so like the damage is going to be ridiculous. Like, I think someone did a attack into a super and it did like 80%. That's gonna be a nuts thing to deal with. And finally, we have rollback netcode for Under Night In-Birth. This is the biggest news yet. We can play this game with anyone now. We can actually enjoy ourselves playing this game. Like, the game was already good before. It's really hard to play online because delay-based netcode. Especially with all the inputs that you have to do in this game, I think that this change had to happen for sure. So yeah, so now we have rollback netcode. Everybody can enjoy the game. Please make sure you support this game because they did something for the community. Hopefully crossplay next. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this whole website. I mean, I like all the information presented here. You can definitely check it out on the regular Under Night 2 website. it is the same website that it was before. It just now has more stuff on it. What was your favorite part that we talked about today? What are some thoughts that you guys have about what we talked about today? What are some things that I got wrong today? Please comment all that stuff down below and correct me, please. Don't just tell me I got it wrong and not correct me. Please let me know what I got wrong and correct me on there down below. But anyway, until next time, everybody, it's been your boy Young ZettaSlow. Stay healthy, stay happy, and stay groovy. And I'll holler at y'all in the next video. We out of here. Peace.